Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's informational webinar on the advanced programs. I'm Crispian Lees. I'm the head of education at Advantage Learn, and I'm going to be spending some time with you this evening helping you to understand what the advanced programs are. Just to give you a little bit of an overview in terms of who Advantage Learn is, we're an educational organization founded out of Durban, but largely online, and we help high school learners with self-study resources, largely in maths and science. We help matrics significantly in terms of national benchmark test preparation, which is a relatively new set of assessments, although not that new. They've been around since 2008 now, but that matrics are having to navigate now as they have become entrance requirements at universities in South Africa, at certain universities and certain degree programs. We then help learners in exam preparation, largely focusing on maths and science, but also help with life sciences and accounting. And then we have our subject academies, where we help learners in an annual program to take their maths and science marks to the next level. And we have a robotics academy as well. But we were really founded out of the advanced programs, and that's what I'm here to speak to you about this evening. So what is AP Maths and AP Physics? Many of you parents who are listening this evening, along with me, will remember the advanced programs under a different name. It used to be part of the National Senior Certificate and known as additional mathematics or add maths. When I was at school, when I matriculated back in 2000, I think, it was known as add maths, and it was an additional subject that you could take as part of the National Senior Certificate. So it was reported on your National Senior Certificate. All the way back around that time, the Department of Basic Education took the decision to no longer offer additional maths as part of the National Senior Certificate. It fairly so, they wanted to focus the subjects on offer through the National Senior Certificate to enhance the quality of what was being offered. And also additional maths was not broadly accessible over the country because it is an advanced course which has unique resourcing requirements. And so it was removed off of the National Senior Certificate. Now, while there were a number of fair reasons for doing that, the IEB recognized that this was to the detriment of learners who were specifically interested in mathematics and who needed to be extended at a high school level. And so the IEB undertook the certification of what they then renamed it as advanced program mathematics, and they continued to offer this to South African high school learners as an additional qualification. So it is distinct from the National Senior Certificate. The National Senior Certificate are your core subjects. If you pass the advanced program exams at the end of matric, you receive an additional certificate which is an additional quality assured qualification that is looked at very favorably by tertiary institutions, both locally and abroad. But the underlying philosophy behind the advanced programs and the way they've been designed by the IEB is largely to better prepare learners for university study. There is undoubtedly a growing gap between what learners are learning at a high school level and what they need to know when they enter first year university. And the advanced programs are an excellent extension program to ensure that learners that are pursuing your more challenging degrees are well equipped to succeed. I can recall firsthand, having done additional mathematics at high school, that when I entered into the degree that I'd chosen, I did chemical engineering when I studied, that having done additional mathematics helped me immensely in my first year, in my entire degree program. I had a massive load in my first year of subjects. Largely, the subjects were underpinned by a large amount of mathematics, and having a solid foundation as a consequence of taking additional mathematics helped me incredibly to excel in my degree and then complete it in minimum time, where many learners actually are tripped up by first year maths to a large extent. It is one of the most failed first year courses, along with applied mathematics, which is actually quite similar, well, very similar to physics. Applied mathematics is very similar to physics. Physics is essentially using mathematics to explain natural physical phenomena, and so it is applied mathematics in a different under a different name, essentially. So that is what the advanced programs are. They are an additional certificate and qualification offered by the IEB for learners in high school to better prepare them for tertiary study. And essentially what they do in advanced program maths and advanced program physics is they cover university level concepts at a high school level, but at a slower pace than what they would be covering them at university. So advanced program mathematics, for instance, the concepts that learners do in advanced program mathematics are largely covered in the first year of university mathematics. So over 3 years in high school, learners are exposed to these concepts, which are largely covered very quickly, almost in the first 6 months of first year university mathematics. And that is testament to the step change in the rate of learning that learners need to navigate when they move from high school to university. In high school, learners are given a lot of time to grapple with concepts and come to terms with them. At university, lecturers move at a brisk rate to get through what they need to get through, and learners are expected to keep up. And so it's incredibly beneficial to cover these concepts early and get a solid foundation ahead of moving into university, where there are a lot of changes that learners need to navigate and come to terms with as they aim to succeed at their degree program of choice. Okay, I will get into the content matter of the advanced programs shortly, but first I want to talk a little bit about around our philosophy at Advantage Learn relative to the advanced programs. The advanced programs are challenging courses. They are extension programs. And for us at Advantage Learn, the growth that they naturally cause within learners is far more important than the marks that the learners achieve in the advanced programs. Obviously, we are working with our learners to go and achieve that additional qualification at the end of matric. But the benefits of the advanced programs go far beyond that. For many learners, the fact that they need to struggle with something for the first time is incredibly beneficial to their work ethic and their mindset towards learning. And so this is really important to emphasize for those of you that are thinking of starting the advanced programs, because you should not be expecting the same marks that you achieve in your core subjects in the advanced programs. If you a straight A student cracking 90s across the board in your core subjects, it is very natural for you to then for your mark in the advanced program to move down by 20 to 30%. And that is absolutely fine, as long as you are seeing benefit in the program, as long as you're finding it interesting, you're finding it's having a positive impact on your learning, it's having a positive influence on your core subjects as a result of the extension, then it is an excellent program for you to be a part of. And this requires a degree of a mind shift from both learners and parents alike. For many learners and parents, anything less than an A is, something that causes a degree of stress and is viewed as potentially not good enough. But it is an unrealistic expectation for learners to always expect that they can achieve exceptionally high marks in whatever they are learning. When they move to university, inevitably, with the exception of a very small percentage of learners. Learners will have to struggle through some courses and be comfortable with a lower mark so long as they are progressing and learning and moving forward. And so I'd just like to emphasize this at this point, because if you do undertake the advanced programs, you will inevitably come across an assessment where you do not perform as well as you do in your core subjects. And that is absolutely okay. As I've mentioned, as long as you're finding benefit in the program, then it is worthwhile for you to continue. So the resilience and the growth mindset and the grit that the advanced programs develop is far more important than the marks that you achieve. Okay, so now a couple of reasons on why you should consider doing advanced program maths or advanced program physics. We at Advantage Learn help learners in advanced program maths and advanced program physics. There are two other advanced programs, advanced program English and advanced program Afrikaans, but we focus on STEM subjects at Advantage Learn. And the reasons why you should consider doing them is, well, one of them is that, and these are in no particular order, is that they improve your core subject results. So if you take advanced program maths, you can expect that it will have a very positive impact on your core maths results. And it helps you in a very different way to normal. This is an extension program. It's different to a support program in mathematics, which is more like our academy or tutoring or something like that, which comes in at the level that you're learning and supports you to understand that material better. The advanced programs come in at a higher level and they extend you. And by virtue of extending you, they naturally lead to much stronger basics in your core maths. And most of our learners report performing much better in their core maths after having taken on advanced program mathematics, or in their physical science after having taken on advanced program physics. Second important reason why you should consider doing the advanced programs is that they undoubtedly help in your university applications. Universities in South Africa and abroad recognize the advanced programs and look at a learner who has achieved a certificate in the advanced programs very favorably, because these programs are the most similar to the university subjects that our learners are going to undertake in terms of the rate of learning and the level of demand on learners. A certificate in the advanced programs says volumes about a learner's ability and their work ethic and resilience to stick with something and complete it. So universities look very favorably at the advanced program certificates. They don't form part of the preliminary requirements into South African universities. They do largely form part of the preliminary requirements for international universities. But what's happening in the university space in South Africa is that there's only a limited number of places at universities. There's a limited number of universities. There's a limited number of places on degree programs. And the number of learners that are achieving national senior certificate results, core subject results that make them eligible for those degree programs far exceeds the number of learners that the universities can actually capacitate in those programs. And so universities are needing additional information to make good admissions decisions. And what they are looking at after looking at the preliminary criteria for admission is they're looking at things like, has this learner done an advanced program? What is this learner's national benchmark test score? And that brings me to the fourth point there, is that learners who take the advanced programs generally perform better in the national benchmark tests because they learn to approach problems in a more lateral way, and that helps them incredibly in the national benchmark tests, which are tests that learners will navigate in their matric year, and they are very different types of tests which assess both mathematical and quantitative skills and language and literacy skills. The third point there is that learners who take the advanced programs are less likely to struggle at university. And that speaks to the underlying philosophy of the advanced programs, that they were designed to better prepare learners for university study. And in explaining this, I like to talk through two kind of generalized profiles of learners. Often at a high school level, you'll get a mid-aptitude learner who does exceptionally well at high school because they have the diligence and work ethic to achieve well. They are not necessarily the sharpest learners, but because they have a good work ethic, they show diligence, they perform exceptionally well. However, because they're not necessarily the highest aptitude learner, they take a little bit longer to pick up concepts than their high aptitude counterparts. And so doing the advanced programs is exceptionally helpful to those learners, because when they move from high school to university, where the rate of learning changes significantly, as I mentioned earlier, and high school learners are given quite a lot of time to grapple with concepts. In university, the program moves very briskly, and learners need to pick those concepts up at the rate that's required, or else kind of approach. And so for mid-aptitude learners, it's exceptionally helpful as they navigate that change in the rate of learning to have covered these concepts before and have a really good step up into university to help them to succeed. They've got the work ethic and the diligence to succeed, but they need a little bit of help from it in terms of the conceptual understanding and allowing a little bit more time to get that. The other kind of profile of learner that it helps significantly is your exceptionally high aptitude learners. So learners that are gifted with exceptionally sharp minds. But that is both a blessing and a curse. And the curse of having an exceptionally high aptitude and sharp mind is that oftentimes that results in very poor work ethic, because these learners are so intelligent that they can perform very well at high school without doing their homework, by studying the night before on a test. All of those, which is great, which is nice, but unfortunately it doesn't develop the skills, the resilience, the work ethic, the diligence that they will inevitably need beyond high school. Your intelligence can only get you so far. It needs to be coupled with a solid work ethic, and that is what will help you to succeed beyond high school. And so the advanced programs to those exceptionally high aptitude learners often presents the first time in their high school careers where they are significantly challenged, where they have to learn to struggle with something, where they have to learn that they need to apply themselves and put in the work if they want to achieve the results. And so that's a really important learning curve for those kinds of learners, and the advanced programs are an excellent vehicle in that regard. And so for all of these learners, it really extends and challenges them and stretches their thinking. And then lastly, and I have mentioned this to some extent, is that the advanced programs are recognized by international institutions. So the IEB have gone to great length via benchmarking organizations. UK ENIC used to be called UK NARIC, is now UK ENIC. The advanced programs have been benchmarked at an equivalent standard to the UK GSE, the UK General Certificate in Education, which is the high school certificate in the UK. The advanced programs have been benchmarked at an equivalent level to their A level, their advanced level, which is the most advanced certificate that you can achieve at a high school level in the United Kingdom. So the advanced programs really make, in combination with the National Senior Certificate, make the school leavings, those school leaving certificates globally relevant and recognized abroad. And there's many universities abroad that if you go onto their website as a South African learner and you research what the admissions requirements are, they will often say that you need a certain number of A's on your National Senior Certificate and you require further study. So it's not enough to have a National Senior Certificate, and they largely quote that the sufficient further studies is an IEB advanced program certificate. Okay, so moving on to who should do AP subjects. Well, learners with a strong core subject competency. So in maths, if you're at in grade 9, you're achieving over 70% and you're moving into grade 10 next year, you should be considering doing advanced program mathematics. If your advanced program physics only starts at a grade 11 level, so if you're in grade 10 doing physical science and you're getting over 70% in physical science, you should be considering doing advanced program physics. Okay. Then learners who are interested in maths and or physics and want to excel. It's very important that you follow your interests. If you're interested in something, then half the battle is won in terms of succeeding in that. Learners who want to enter competitive degree programs should consider doing the advanced programs strongly. As I've mentioned, the admissions landscape into tertiary institutions or universities is very competitive, and so anything that you can do to differentiate your application is important, and the advanced programs provide a strong differentiator for learners. And then any learner that is looking at any degree or course that requires a level of quantitative or scientific ability. So if maths, applied maths, or physics is in your future, you know that's the kind of domain that you're going to be moving towards, then it's exceptionally helpful. Then you should really be doing the advanced programs because they'll set you up for success in those degree programs. So degrees that fit that kind of categorization are your BScs, your Bachelor of Science degrees, engineering, your commerce degrees, so accounting, business science, actuarial science significantly, technology degrees, so computer science, those kinds of things. And then also learners looking to go into medicine. Even though medicine doesn't necessarily have a large component of mathematics to it, it does have a degree of physics in it, and the advanced program certificate is important because it's exceptionally competitive to get into medicine programs. And then lastly, this is somewhat repetitive, but if you're looking to study overseas, the advanced programs in combination with your national senior certificate give you a globally relevant high school leaving combination of qualifications. Okay, now to talk to options for AP subjects for 2022. So at Advantage Learn, we recognize 3 streams of learning, and we do our best to offer all streams of learning to our learners. The first one being guided online video lessons. Okay, this is your classic online course where our expert educators have spent hours in the studio producing videos, lessons that we prescribe to learners weekly. Learners are in this stream enabled to complete the lessons at a time which suits them, pause, rewatch, rewind. They're also supported by our program coordinators to assist with any queries that both learners and parents have access to our coordinators. And then learners have access to a dedicated AP Maths and AP Physics WhatsApp group on which the educator and the coordinator are involved, so they can get content-related help via that channel. And it also includes a physical write-on textbook, which is very helpful in learning online. It's still important to put pen to paper or to put stylus to tablet, and it's important to still actually do the sums. Okay, we also have our live online learning stream, which is your Zoom classroom or your Microsoft Teams classroom or your Google Classroom. We use Zoom in our programs as you're experiencing this evening. And essentially this learning stream is a weekly online live lesson taught by one of our AP educators. Equally, learners and parents are supported by a program coordinator. They also have access to a dedicated WhatsApp group on which the educator and coordinator are there to assist with logistical queries or content-related queries, and it includes a physical write-on textbook as well. And then the third stream is the one that most of us are most familiar with, although the online learning streams are becoming very familiar these days, is the in-person learning stream. So very much like the live online learning stream, except instead of being in the Zoom classroom, you're in the physical in-person classroom. This stream is only available for AP Maths learners based in Durban, as that's where our AP Maths Centre is in Durban, Westville. And so learners in that region can join the course in person. And it includes all of the aspects of the live online course as well, in terms of a program coordinator, a support WhatsApp group, and a physical write-on textbook. Our courses, from a fees perspective, are all inclusive. You're not going to have to buy anything else over and above the course fee, with the exception of the final IEB examination fee, which I'll talk to in a moment. Okay, so now to get to the content that you'll cover in the advanced programs. In advanced program maths, the syllabus is calculus and algebra, which are in bold there because they form part of the compulsory syllabus or the standard certificate. And I'm going to talk to further study standard in a moment. So that's the compulsory learning domain, calculus and algebra. Learners then have the option to choose between three electives: statistics, finance and modeling, or graph theory and matrices. Okay, and if learners go and write, so calculus and algebra are written in paper 1 at a matric level, and a pass in paper 1 will yield a further studies standard certificate to learners. If learners write paper 1 and paper 2, where paper 2 is one of the electives, not all of them, just one of the three, and they pass paper 2, they will achieve a further studies extended certificate. And those are the subject domains that are covered in advanced program maths. It's an extracurricular program. AP Maths is a 3-year program from grade 10 to 12. There are 32 weeks of learning per year, and it's about 90 to 120 minutes per week of learning, and that includes the lesson time. So in grade 10, our lessons are 90 minutes a week in the live capacity, so if you're attending in person or live online. And then in grade 11 and 12, the lessons go to 120 minutes a week. And we have structured the program such that we largely don't prescribe homework outside of the lessons. We understand that this is an extracurricular program and that learners have a full load in terms of their school and their sport and their cultural activities, which are equally important. And so we do our best to fit the program within the scheduled timeframes and then support our learners towards the exams with dedicated exam preparation and revision sessions. And so that's roughly the weekly level of effort you can expect on the advanced programs. And then there are 4 assessments per year. In advanced program physics, the syllabus covered in advanced program physics, there's no electives in advanced program physics. In grade 11, all learners taking advanced program physics will cover analytical skills, thermal physics, modern physics. They'll start with advanced mechanics and then complete that in grade 12. And then the final 2 domains, which will be covered in grade 12, are charged particles in electric and magnetic fields and oscillations. As with advanced program mathematics, it's an extracurricular program. Advanced program physics, though, is only a 2-year program, so commencing in grade 11, and it's 28 weeks of learning per year. Our live lessons are 90 minutes per week, and there are 4 assessments per year. In terms of advanced program physics, the streams of learning that are available through Advantage Learn are live online and guided online. In advanced program physics, we don't have an in-person center for advanced program physics. Okay, I now want to spend a little bit of time talking to the changes to the advanced programs that have just recently been announced by the IEB. The IEB have this year launched an international division called IEB International, and with that have launched a new qualification called the International Secondary Certificate. Okay, there was a number of reasons why the IEB did this. One was that the Department of Education are no longer allowing the National Senior Certificate to be offered outside of South Africa. And there were a number of schools on the border, just outside the border of South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, that were actually following the National Senior Certificate via the IEB. Those schools can no longer do that. And so this is one of the reasons why the IEB are launching an international secondary certificate. Further to that, schools, learners, and parents are increasingly looking for a globally relevant alternative to the National Senior Certificate. And then the IEB have recognized that there's a need for a high school certification that is better suited to online learning and distance learning modalities. And so this has been a long time coming from the IEB. They've done extensive work in benchmarking their programs and the advanced programs to global standards. And this has resulted in the launch of the International Secondary Certificate. Significantly, the International Secondary Certificate is only for learners outside of South Africa. Okay, so learners in South Africa will continue to study the National Senior Certificate, but should pursue the advanced programs to make that globally relevant. And the advanced programs are forming a key component of the International Secondary Certificate. And so, and they are being renamed as of this year into further studies. They will be, so advanced program maths will be known as further studies maths. Advanced program physics will be known as further studies physics. As I mentioned previously, the advanced programs have already been globally benchmarked as equivalent in standard to the most advanced level in the UK, in the GCE in the UK. And this International Secondary Certificate will be quality assured by the Stellenbosch University Unit for International Credentialing. Okay, so what does this all mean? I'm just giving you the context, but things for South African learners largely remain unchanged. It's largely simply a name change. The advanced program maths is becoming further studies maths, and advanced program physics is becoming further studies physics. Learners will still work towards that qualification and certification, which is globally relevant at the end of grade 12, but it essentially the IEB are housing these qualifications within their International Secondary Certificate, and South African learners can study those components as they have done via the advanced programs. Okay, so that is what further studies is. So if you hear about further studies and the advanced programs, remember they are one and the same thing. Okay, there is one technical change though in advanced program maths which is significant. And that is that previously in advanced program maths, learners had to do paper 1, which was calculus and algebra, and paper 2, which was their elective, in order to achieve an advanced program maths certificate. Now with further studies, learners will be able to select to either pursue a further studies maths standard certificate, which is benchmarked to an A-level standard, or a further studies maths extended certificate, which is also benchmarked to an A-level standard, but is a bigger syllabus and therefore a slightly higher certification than further studies standard. Okay, and so that is, so where in the past learners had to do both paper 1 and paper 2 to achieve a qualification, now learners can achieve a qualification via paper 1 and they can continue with paper 2 and achieve an enhanced or extended qualification, which is really great in terms of broadening the reach of the advanced programs, because they are such important programs, and making the qualifications slightly more attainable. However, I must mention that with the change, the pass mark has increased. So in the past, to pass the advanced programs, you needed to achieve 40% or above. Now in the transition from the advanced programs to further studies, a pass will be 50% or higher. Okay, and that's important to note. So in grade 12, learners will need to register for the IEB exams. All right, the registration costs for the IEB exams are not included in our program costs, but they are a cost only that is only incurred in grade 12, and the registration cost per program in 2021 for the exam was 1,028 Rand. We assist all of our learners with the registration and ensure that they are registered to write the final exam. Okay, these are our course costs for our advanced programs. We have a number of different payment options. If you pay up front before the program begins, you are eligible for a 10% discount, but essentially for the discount that you can see on the first row. And these are our costs for the guided online learning stream, the live online learning stream, or the in-person learning stream. There's also a semesterly payment option, so you can pay over 2 payments. That will obviously not include the upfront discount. And then there is a 10-month debit order that you can also take advantage of, which is paying the program off over 10 months starting in January, and that includes a 10% admin fee. Learners from our partner schools receive further discounts. So Southern Cross Schools, for instance, those of you from Southern Cross Schools here this evening, you are one of our partner schools. You will receive an enhanced discount in that regard, and we'll send you through the details. And then just to reiterate that our in-person learning stream is only available for AP Maths learners who are based in Durban. All right. So how do you go about registering? It is an application process to be part of the advanced programs. You simply visit advantagelearn.com, navigate to the advanced programs, and then apply by filling in the form on advantagelearn.com. Once your application is submitted, it'll go to our academic team to review the application. It's then either accepted or rejected. If your application is successful, then you'll move into registration and enrollment, and we get back to you very quickly thereafter. All right, and I believe that is everything that we plan to cover this evening. We do hold regular webinars to keep parents and learners up to date in terms of what is going on. Our next webinar is on the 8th of December from 5:30 to 6:30, where I'll be presenting on the advanced programs again, but also on our academy, our Maths and Science Academy and our Robotics Academy. So if you're interested in those programs, please join me on the 8th of December. You can sign up at advantagelearn.com/webinars, and Norm will post that link in the chat if you do want to sign up for that. And that is everything. So if a learner registered in grade 10 and is moving to grade 11, do they need to register from scratch again? So in the application process, it will ask you whether you are re-registering or whether you're applying for the first time. If you're applying for the first time, you need to go through the full application process, which includes the submission of your current academic report and a motivation. If you are re-registering, you don't have to do those aspects. It's simply re-registering for the program. Okay. If a student has a mark less than 70% for physical science in grade 10, may they still be considered for AP Physics if their teacher writes a motivational letter? Good question. We are really of the opinion that nobody should be precluded from pursuing whatever it is they want to pursue educationally. So it will absolutely be considered. And we will do our best to support learners to succeed in the program. So the 70%, above 70% for physical science is a kind of recommended level in that regard. However, interesting things do happen in the advanced programs. Sometimes learners don't perform that well in their core subjects because they're not necessarily that engaged, maybe because they're slightly bored, and then when they take on the advanced programs, they become very engaged because they're finding it very interesting, and then all of a sudden it has a really positive impact on their marks. So we will consider the application for sure. If advanced program physics does not turn out to be the best program for your learner, then we would possibly migrate them over time into the Science Academy to help them to improve their physical science marks. So that's also an option within Advantage Learn. But if a learner is interested and keen, they really should give the advanced programs a go. Our academic team will get back to you on your application though and advise you. Can you apply for the advanced maths program if you're in grade 11 instead of grade 10? So good question, and it is often asked. The advanced program maths or further studies, aka also known as further studies maths as of this year, or as of 2022, is a 3-year program for a reason. Okay, it is not advisable to start it late. Having said that, in line with what I said previously, there are a number of instances where a learner becomes aware of the program too late in grade 10 and then wants to join in grade 11. And we have had a number of instances of that, and we have enabled them to register and help them to catch up on the grade 10 content. And if a learner has the diligence and will to do it, it is possible. Nothing is impossible. So yes, a learner can apply to start in grade 11. They will have missed out on grade 10, and they need to be ready to do some hard yards to catch up. It's not advisable. It is possible. Okay, I hope that answered your question okay. What happens if a learner can't cope with the program halfway through? Good question. Okay, and this does happen. It's an extension program. They are challenging courses, and so we do have a degree of dropout in the advanced programs. However, it is really important that learners embark on the programs with the mindset of, this is a full year program and I'm going to, give it my best shot for the year. So I would caution against starting the advanced programs with, in the back of your mind, the thought that, I can opt out at half year, because that might influence the level of engagement and effort that gets put in. But if a learner is studying the advanced programs and realizes that this is not for them, it's causing them too much stress and it's having a negative impact on their learning, then they shouldn't continue, and they don't need to continue. In that case, I would probably our fees are annual fees. So if you commit to the program, you're committing to an annual fee. However, if you opt towards one of the semesterized or the 10 monthly debit order payment option, then that gives you a degree of flexibility in terms of not paying for the full year. And if you do discontinue the program, then you won't necessarily be obligated to pay the full year fee. However, in some of our classes, there is a capacity on the classes. In most of our classes, there is a capacity. And so, we please also just take that into consideration, that we want to admit learners onto our advanced programs that are going to see them through. The other thing, so it is a very good question and it's a fair consideration. The other thing just to be aware of is that we also run annual programs in our Maths Academy and our Physics and our Science Academy. So what we often do for learners who are doing advanced program maths and then discover that this is too much, they can seamlessly migrate into the Maths Academy and get, which is all about taking their core maths marks to the next level. So it's a class of motivated learners that are focusing on doing really well in their core maths. And that's equally possible in advanced program physics, where learners can move, if they decide that this is not for them, they can move into the Science Academy and focus on getting really high marks in their physical science. So those things are available. The one other thing I must mention, Amy, in AP Maths is that now, with the reformulation of advanced program maths into further studies maths, learners do have an option to focus down onto further studies maths standard. So that's actually a smaller amount of content, because it's only the calculus and algebra, and they can still achieve an additional certificate and qualification that is benchmarked to an A-level standard. So that is also a helpful thing these days, that in grade 11, learners will have the opportunity to decide, the electives are a bridge too far for me. I'm just going to focus on further studies maths standard. But that's it's only possible within maths, advanced program maths, which is becoming further studies maths. So I hope that answered your question for you. Good question. Do you work in semesters or terms? How do you schedule exams so they don't conflict with other subjects or exams? So our programs are semesterized. So we work in semesters. However, so there are 2 assessments per semester, one halfway through the semester, one and a half year, and then one halfway through semester 2, and then one at the end of the year. We do look at the 4-term, the ASASA 4-term, the ASASA 3-term, and the DBE 4-term calendars in doing our planning, and we plan the schedule to be as aligned to those calendars as possible. It's not a perfect science with the various calendars that learners follow across the country, but we do take cognizance of the various calendars and do our best to schedule the program appropriately so that learners aren't having to study over their holidays, for instance. And then in terms of scheduling the exams so as not to conflict with their other subjects, that's an excellent question. It's important that we don't negatively impact learners' core results and their core subjects. And so we largely try to schedule our advanced program exams in periods that do not clash with core subject exam times. So we know that June exams are generally like the last 4 to 5 weeks of the second term for learners, and so we'll try and schedule our exam just in the week before the June exams really get going, so learners can get it out of the way and focus on their core subject. So we do really take those things into account and try and schedule things appropriately, and we do it pretty well for the most part, but it is somewhat of a scheduling challenge. So I'd just like to thank all of you for joining me this evening. I hope I have given you an understanding of what the advanced programs are all about. Having done additional mathematics myself way back when, and having experienced the benefits of it moving into my engineering degree, I really hope that you decide to move forward with the advanced programs. We believe in these deeply, and we hope to see you on the programs next year. Thank you for joining us.